Self-actualization in 7 simple words. What you can be, you must be. If you remember nothing else about self-actualization, those 7 words will get you a long way to, first of all, understanding it and using it in your life. Hello there and welcome to another episode of Actualize. My name is Daniel Midson-Short. In today's episode, we are looking at the definition of self-actualization, what it is, what it isn't, and how we can use it in our lives to become better people. To demonstrate the concept of self-actualization, I want to ask you a question. Do you remember a time when you knew you could do better in your life? Maybe it was in your health, your relationships, your career, your schoolwork. There was something in your life where you had this urge or desire to be a better version of what you already were. Not because someone else was telling you you should do better, but just because you had this intrinsic urge to be a better person. If you think back to that time that you wanted to be better in some way in your life, that is a time when you were self-actualizing. This desire to grow and to develop and to evolve is part of every single human being's needs. But very few people actually take the time to listen to those urges and to act on them and to become a better version of themselves. You know, there is so much written on this topic of self-actualization and human potential, and there are hundreds of videos on YouTube which explain it in great depth and detail, so I'm not going to spend an hour doing that in this video today. But if you remember those 7 simple words, what you can be, you must be, you are on your way to really understanding what self-actualization is all about. Speaking for myself, this is a topic that I've been studying for over 20 years. I first came across the concept in a psychology class during my business degree, and I was fascinated by the story of Maslow and how he wanted to improve not just his life, but the lives of other people by focusing on the positive traits that we all have. You've probably read and understand the hierarchy of needs, and maybe you're at a point in your life where you're starting to tap out in terms of the other needs and you're wanting to do something to improve and to grow yourself. Well, in this series and in this video, we're going to start to talk about how you can do that and the ways that actualization works in your life. Now, in particular, I've been influenced by 2 books in the genre of psychology and self-actualization. They are The Third Force by Frank Goebel, which was written in the 1960s and was in collaboration with Abraham Maslow himself. Frank Goebel was a student of Maslow and he wanted to learn directly from the source. There was a lot of quotes, and the foreword of that book is actually by Maslow himself. More recently, the book by Scott Barry Kaufman called Transcend has been another big influence on me. And this looks at the way neuroscience and social media and current trends affect how we self-actualize. If you're interested in the topic, I would really recommend checking out those 2 books when you have some time for a deep dive into this concept. But today I want to share just 3 lessons along with the simple definition that will help you to better understand how you can start to self-actualize and what it may or may not be in your life. Now, first and foremost, it's very important to dispel one myth about self-actualization, and that is that it's easy. It is actually not an easy thing to self-actualize. It's much easier to stay in your comfort zone, to not challenge yourself, to not push yourself, and to become a better version of who you are. Most people avoid self-actualization for this exact reason, because it's not easy to do. The desire to improve and to change requires effort, it requires facing fears, it requires getting uncomfortable and sometimes letting go of the old way that you used to be. And if you're a person who is interested in growing and developing yourself, you know exactly how that feels. You've probably already experienced it in some ways in your life where even though it was more painful to change than to stay the same, you still did it for yourself. And that is at the core of self-actualization. So the next time you feel like you want to be a better version of yourself, you want to improve in some way, realize that it probably won't be comfortable and it's not this natural flowing thing. It's actually a little bit of a struggle, and it's a push and it's a strain, and that is at the core of becoming a self-actualized person. The second thing that's really important to understand about self-actualization is that it changes your relationships. If you start changing, growing and developing yourself as a person, sometimes that means you won't have the same connection that you used to have with certain people in your life. Not everybody is evolving and developing at the same pace or in the same stages of life. And so for you, if you find yourself wanting to grow or learn or become a different type of person than you've been in the past, you might find that people around you resist it a little bit. Maybe they criticize you, or they question you, or they tell you to stop trying to be someone you're not. All these are pretty common things that you'll hear when you try to self-actualize. If the people around you don't understand the desires that you have in your life, that is okay. You can still be friends with them, you can still have a relationship and a connection. It just means that you might find newer people who are more on the same path as you, and you may have a closer relationship with those new people than you had with the older people in your life. And the third thing that's important to know about self-actualization is that it's a push, not a breakthrough. Sometimes people think that you have to have this profound life-changing moment where you suddenly self-actualize, you evolve, you transcend to another level. The truth is that self-actualization isn't like that at all. It's an ongoing push, it's a struggle. It's something that you learn a little bit and then you plateau, and then you discover something new about yourself and you go to another level internally. Sometimes you meet someone and that changes the way you think and feel about yourself. Pushing yourself to keep growing is the way that self-actualization works. It doesn't work as this huge moment. It's a slow push, and it's something that sometimes you don't even notice is happening, except that you feel more fulfilled because you're doing something or you're being a certain type of person in your life. So to finish this video, I want to answer one simple question. Why bother with self-actualization? You know, this is something I've wrestled with for almost 35 years of my life, ever since I learned about personal development, self-improvement. Why should we bother to become a better version of ourselves? Why not just stay the same, be like everyone else and just fit in? Well, the truth is that you can't. If you are a person who likes to grow and learn and change and evolve, the idea of staying the same for the rest of your life is a pain that you cannot tolerate. You have to change and evolve. And in fact, the evolution and the growth and the development that you experience is the reward. You may think at times that you're doing it because you want a certain result, but what you'll actually realize is that you are evolving and growing because it's just part of who you are. You have to keep growing. And hence my definition at the beginning, what you can be, you must be. That is the core of self-actualization, and that is the reason why it's such a worthwhile pursuit in your life. And nobody said it better than Abraham Maslow himself. He said, "If you deliberately plan to be less than you are capable of being, then I warn you that you'll be unhappy for the rest of your life." My friend, the fact that you're watching this video, that you're interested in this topic, says that you are an actualizer. You're a person who wants to grow and develop through self-improvement, through psychology, through improving yourself in any way that you can in your life. So my challenge to you is to think about these 7 simple words. What you can be, you must be. Ask yourself, what is it that you can be in your life and that you must become? That is the core of self-actualization, and that is why you're alive today. I hope that these ideas are interesting and inspiring for you. My name is Daniel Midson-Short. Thank you for watching. And as always, thank you for improving yourself.